Hi, so I want to talk about mentality, like, mindedness, really. The patterns and beliefs. Whoa. Try to set up. Hopefully this stays. Okay. And I want to talk about, how, like, first of all, in terms of outdated, current, or growing. So I once had a therapist who said, like, what's a rose, what's a bud, what's a thorn? Like, the thorn might think of as that which we're outgrowing. Like, we don't really want to be jabbed with a thorn. Then there is the bud, which is growing. It's going to become, and then the current, which is the flower. But this is sort of saying that what we want is the current. Now, on some level, we did want what is current. That's how we got here. The it's an attraction and it's a pattern and it arrived. Whether or not, a pattern that goes up and down, we're like, I hate it, I love it. I hate it, I love it. So, we're still attracting in that pattern. So, as I did that, I'm not so big, I'm not so small. My limits can give me humility. And when we think about it, we have a front, we have a back, we have a right, a left, and up and down. There's also an inner self. And when we remember that things will be okay, even if we don't put our hands in everything, we can actually like flow like a fish. Like if you think about it, a fish has no arms. It's just swimming along. So, a lot of my beliefs are I had to connect with like-minded people. So when we think of like-mindedness, uh, often it could be like, you know, like beliefs that got handed down. We don't even realize how like-minded we are with people who we really might not like or respect or want to be around or trust or care or accept or enjoy their company. But actually, we have a very similar like mind. Why? Because our mind functions in similar ways. It has similar beliefs. It considers similar things to be blessings. It has similar attractions, similar patterns. So when we connect with ourselves, we actually connect with our beliefs. We can stop doing this like, I hate it, I love it, I hate it, I love it. We're sort of like, we're actually like, the current becomes the rose. We stop being jabbed with the thorn. We don't have to keep doing it to ourselves. We don't have to keep like um, thinking things that you hear people say like that thought doesn't serve me. What does it mean? It means it's like it's not even how I really it's like the mind that I identify as is thinking something that's not even my thought, in other words. So I want to share some of my beliefs when I did this introspection, that men are givers, women are receivers. Now, you might say, well, isn't that really the truth? Like even the USB, they say the masculine part of the USB sticks out and is the giver, and the plug, the masculine side of the plug. I mean, literally, they call it the masculine and feminine. Nowadays, it's probably hard because there's like a lot of people who try to like stir the pot when it comes to that. But like straight up, like the body parts, like the man gives the sperm, the woman receives. So you would say like, doesn't that? But when I connect with that belief, that means I'm going to show up as a woman that way. I'm going to expect a man to be that way. So that's an example. And I want to share in advance, some of these beliefs are outdated, or some of these beliefs I'm growing into. For example, an outdated beliefs were like, I have to earn pleasure and love, otherwise I'm unworthy. Like, I don't deserve to spend much money on myself. There isn't enough time to do everything. Relaxing or resting is actually a privilege. Now, that could be said in another way. It's a privilege that I get to rest and relax. But when I'm thinking I didn't earn the privilege, right? You see, so there's this level of like how much we're attracting in. Is it on the outside our value? Like, is my accomplishment on the outside gives me the privilege to be able to finally relax because I did a good job? Or do I relax and then I can attract in all the good things? So there's a lot at play, or not even play, at I don't even know the right word at the moment, but like it's almost like at entering, at interacting. There's a lot at the action level here, like of the not quite collisions, but touches. There's a lot there's different parts touching each other. There's networking happening. There's a lot at the network level. Thinking, that people are indigenous to their lands, that we're all part of really a hive mind, a collective consciousness. I think of the roots underground of all the trees connected with the fungus, the mycelium, and also think about how the body could be a spaceship or a prison. That words, declarations, verbalizations, they really matter. The negative, the unknown, is a mystery. I notice a lot of things like there's this an outdated belief could be something current, but also could be something that we could tell is on the way out because it's not quite supported by our real life anymore. Or as we become more ourselves, some of the beliefs are fading away. For example, that negativity can come through everything. We could actually start to recognize that not everything has to be on this yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, or the fact that there can be a delayed or invisible reaction, but there's always an equal or greater reaction. So we've heard that, but if you don't believe it, your life will not show you evidence of that. I want to also say a fear of being tricked by someone who's not what or who they seem. In other words, negativity can come through them, or there's going to be a delayed or invisible reaction. Basically everything, there's always an account. I eat junk food, it's going to affect me. There's junk food coming into my cells. There's junk food, not giving me the energy I need. There's junk food, fogging up the thoughts. In other words, so it could be a delayed reaction, but it's going to be there. So do you believe that? Or do you believe you could eat anything in your body is so amazing it could turn even garbage into food and fuel, and it will delete everything that you're not supposed to have? Also, this idea I'm not feminine enough. I'm not here to help I'm here just to help everyone else become aware. That I'm here to help everyone else become aware of being a light in a vessel that's also light, without needing credit or blame or even acknowledgments. There's some beliefs we have that are stacked on each other. For example, I'm here to help everyone. Then what am I here to help everyone? Become aware of being a light in a vessel that's also light, like a light in a light, but one light is denser than the other light. And then finally, also without needing credit or blame. Now, how fine-tuned this is not even being acknowledged for being the one that's making the person aware. And then this belief maybe that I inherited. It doesn't feel like my thought, but I had it in the past, that food comforts the emptiness and the loneliness. I've definitely really tried to use to do so with food. That memories are stored without actively trying to remember, and that movement and sound of the body's wisdom, they're higher than the mind. Now, for our mind to say something like that means that it recognizes its limits, right? I spoke earlier about limits. It recognizes that it does not know everything. There are things that it learns from the body. And if it knows that, then it could say, well, actually, I should know where I don't know so that I could learn the information I need to learn. And then there's a relationship, right? So that networking going on, which is there's a mind, an embodied mind. The mind actually comes into the body and says, I'll have the movement, I'll be able to connect with the movement and sound that will give me even more information. I think that's for now, let's say on that topic. And I want to say that things for example, this idea that before the period we have a terrible experience called PMS, and I've had mixed reviews about it. There are times where it was terrible, times where I didn't even have anything. I noticed that when I'm eating very natural food, I really don't get a lot of problems from that time period. But I want to say there's actually blessings in it. It could be oh, I'm such a victim, it's so terrible. But how about also this idea that there's different ways to look at it? So, for example, like-minded people, or in other words, similar mentality, we rub off on each other, we make those thoughts stronger. They're like magnetics. So it's this time where we could need comfort and sensuality and satisfaction. We want pleasing taste, self-indulgence, excuses, to release commitment and obligations, I'm PMSing, I can't make it. It's also a time for closure, support, and validity through being able to relate to all females who experience the years of menstruating. And it's, when we think about vulnerabilities or cracks in the veneer, and the integrally, at integral locations, there's gaps that point to what need to be resolved as being an active participant in life with transformation, growing, healing, evolving, adapting, becoming. Wholeness, increasing in I like the word whole because wholeness, it's oneness, it's very similar, holiness. I'm sorry, wholeness is like holiness, which is like healing, which is like oneness. So this empowering, progressing, and if you think about it, it's like shedding the old. It's a very hopeful thing. It's saying there's like I can give up on this because there's more. And so now before I go into like a little bit deeper, I want to say open-mindedness is like, if I'm not who I was yesterday, last week, or last year, why is it to assume that anyone else is going to be also like, there is we could say, well, there's got to be this core stable central self, but at the same time there's this the identity or the mentality, how much we identify with the mind, and how much we let our mind into our body, so that the mind could be a more at play, interplay, interconnected networking kind of situation. Oh, it's my printer. I heard a noise. So it is grace to allow someone to try on different versions of themselves with a witness, with an audience, being a witness and audience, with grace as an observer. They could let the version go. Maybe it was repressed from the past and it just needed a chance to express itself. And it's not who they need to become forever. And we don't need to automatically go like, oh my gosh, I cannot live with a person like that forever. Like, we could sometimes allow someone just to be the audience, so they get to feel what that costume of that identity is, what those thoughts are. And it's really a gift to not let others have to be so, to let others not have to be so pigeonholed the same way we don't want to be. And sometimes we need to be able to have that audience, that witness, to just like try a personality or identity on. And we can let others be in a state of becoming. We could see with fresh eyes. We can learn something new from everything. We could learn from it. We could let things be. Learning means something new. We could let it be new. And when I'm learning about myself over time and others are learning about themselves over time, it's okay not to be who I thought I was and not have to commit to that version, and also allow others that same grace. And now I want to talk about something deeper. We can actually heal patterns that we want to stop attracting. So I use the idea of masculinity. It seems like so going in, and this is just exploration, and you could try with any topic. So it seems like men objectify women subconsciously, and like men want to chase, and once they get you, they don't want you anymore. And that when they feel on their decision making power, like when they feel that decision making power, it's like the vulnerable woman who decided to trust them is no longer worth respecting. So he's obviously bringing her down to his level, where he's like, oh, if you actually are going to believe in me, I'm a fraud, you're no longer worth respecting. You don't have the right intuition to be able to gauge whether or not someone's truly authentic. And because you even like me, I now realize that you would be fooled by someone not authentic. I can't look at you as having some kind of superpower that you'll never get fooled, because you actually would believe in me. So it seems like a man could turn off their emotions when there's no chase. They have no passion or will to provide pleasure or love, and they excuse it in themselves by devaluing the woman, like I just explained, and convince themselves that there's nothing more valuable than their independence, non-committed lifestyle, which gives the potential for options. So, like, in terms of me not attracting these, there's this idea that, like, one, I'm going to say one more, but one, it's like a man wants to be independent. Independence not threatened, you know? And number two, I feel like the man wants to know that, like, respect is big. So he wants to be able to respect her sovereignty. So she needs to be able to do what she wants to do, not because he convinced her or seduced her. Like, he wants to know that she's actually, and I think that's number three, like, free choice. He feels special. He feels, chosen. He feels chosen. So I feel like that goes a long way. So those three are obviously not present in the patterns I just talked about. So again, they don't want to feel like their independence is threatened. They want to respect her sovereignty. In other words, that she will do for herself. She won't put him first. Won't put him first before her, because you see that tendency when she starts to put him first, he starts to lower her anyway. So she lowers herself, and then he lowers her more. And where he feels special or chosen. I think those are the most important. And then four, I feel like she makes an effort, in some way. In terms of display. In her display, or not really effort, but so that he could feel like that he deserves that she's beautiful. And the truth is, I see plenty of men with like women that I personally wouldn't feel like if I was a man I'd be attracted. Like I don't think they're beautiful, but he looks at her with such a, like she's so beautiful, and it's like we know that there's a level here of Hashem, God doing this because but it makes an effort or cares, right, or cares in her display or presentation, so he can feel she's beautiful, that he deserves that she's beautiful. And I also want to go back to the pattern now. So I just listed like the healthy masculine dynamic to attract, but I didn't, but going in, it's like the men wanting to. So going back now, what was the other one? Sort of contrasting. In other words, the man maybe wants to avoid the role of preempting, being asked in the provider receiver dynamic, whereby depriving the woman, she has to lower her pride to ask, and when he can, and then he can give her much less, and she can't really complain because the tactic makes one feel that they don't deserve much. But it's men forgetting that the woman can give him his greatness, his growth, with whatever time and attention he shares with her, that she doesn't have to earn or work for, like a proper feedback system, circuitry loop, where it's a complementary win-win. And here I talked about, so what could create that dynamic is when the masculine is able to get out of this pattern. Like we all have a masculine part of ourselves, especially that's why you notice somebody who really learns Kabbalah doesn't need to be like LGBTQ, whatever, all that, because you have, your each level of your 5 levels of your soul is either feminine or masculine. Then you have a female masculine body, and then you have like the 10 sefirot, which you have feminine masculine aspects anyway, the right side, the left side. So like you really don't need to, you don't have to identify with like so much with your body, because there's a lot of network going on. So, or inter-inclusion, it's called inter-inclusion. So in this case, we're going to go now, what was the healthy? The healthy was, he doesn't feel like his independence is threatened. 2, he feels like he respects her. It's like sometimes I think the man for respect is higher than the love for the woman. Like the woman's like, he loves me, and he's like, I respect her. Like I care about her word. I care about her dignity. Like I wouldn't want her to feel uncomfortable. Like she respects herself. That she, her self-respect really. And so then number 3, he feels special or chosen, like she's not just settling or desperate, really, like desperate, like she'll be with anyone who would choose her. Then he doesn't feel he's always going to have like some level of doubt. He's not going to want to give her much because he doesn't know if it's a good investment. And finally, that she's willing to, that she's beautiful in some way, that he could look at her, that because it does. I mean, if you measure the parts of the man's brain, it's a lot more related to visualization, and their brain responds to beauty. So like, women, we have a lot of even for example jewelry. Whoa. There's people who wear makeup. It's not necessary to do this. I'm just giving examples. Like, we could see the beauty, and then it became exploited. It became fake beauty, plastic surgery. I'm saying just like a pretty pair of earrings. A pair of earrings, just shiny earrings. Or no earrings. Could put on a little bit of lipstick. Just lipstick or no lipstick. You could do a hairstyle, right? Your natural hairstyle could be beautiful. Like, today mine's a little flat, but like, you could make like, you could make something, and you could make a hairstyle. Pretty clothes, or pretty shoes, even a good smell, a beautiful smell, even a good smell. And then they have accessories, like you could have a pretty bag. Like, I feel like most of this details is not so important. The man just wants to see that you, like, more like you see yourself, as you could see your beauty. So it's mostly that that like mostly that she feels and sees her own beauty, right? So yeah, I'll make sure I got everything. So anyway, that's for today. I actually won't be doing videos for a while. It's going to be the holiday of Sukkot, so this video is like a double length. Not exactly. Recently, you know what? Some videos have been 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I think the longest video I ever did was over an hour, maybe close to an hour and a half. It's not exactly double. There are some days I do 20 minutes, but today it feels like a longer video with more like flesh and oomph, just so that I could feel like I'm really providing something before I say goodbye for a while, because God willing, I'll see you in the future. But for now, there's going to be a Jewish holiday, and oh, it's my books. A lot of interesting things going on. So I just want to make sure that like nobody has expectation I'm going to be here every day. You watch this video, and at the end, you'll see right now at the end of this video that I am telling you that I will not be recording videos for a while because of the Jewish holiday of Sukkot. I wish you a beautiful Sukkot. May we all feel hugged by Hashem, and may we attract in good programs and have grace and open-mindedness for ourselves and for others. Amen. Can you hear its own? Bye.